Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com. In the pre-market this morning, things are fairly quiet. Stock index futures are trading right around fair value, while commodities are trading lower in the pre-market on Friday morning. Well, this week, of course, will go down as a week to remember or a week to forget. If you did jump into the market yesterday, you want to keep an eye on Wednesday's low. If your stock or ETF starts closing below Wednesday's low, you probably want to get out. And of course, over the next few days, the lower channel line for the right side chart will start to catch up with the market. Now, looking at the week so far, I printed these weekly charts out this morning. There's the TSX up 2.44%, the Dow up 3.99%. The S&P 500 did a little better, the NASDAQ did a little better than that, and the Russell 2000 did better than all of them this week. Now, we may see a reversal in the bond market. It did make a new low, and the TLT did trade below 90 before coming back, and it's actually up on the week. We're seeing a similar reversal in the U.S. dollar index. It's still higher on the week, but off its highs from earlier in the week. Then looking at the price of gold, gold has dipped into the channel on the weekly chart, down $43.40. It is down in the pre-market this morning. And we also have the price of crude oil down slightly in the pre-market on Friday morning. Now, of course, Trump media has been in the news all week. It had a couple of wild days, but is still on a daily sell signal, so no change in trend and a new closing low for this move on Thursday. Now, moving on to the daily charts, there's the VIX down again yesterday, so still on a daily sell signal. That's supportive for higher stock prices. The Dow Diamonds, very quiet trading on Thursday. It's stuck up here at 437.50, closed at 437.39, so that's acting as major resistance. Well, interestingly enough, the big winner on the Dow is actually Intel, and it is getting kicked out of the Dow, so maybe the market just wants to say goodbye before it goes. And one of the biggest losers on Wednesday was actually Home Depot, which was one of the biggest gainers yesterday. Still looking for a close above $400.55 on Friday. And another big loser this week was Boeing, which made a new low on Wednesday. It was inside day on Thursday, so no change in trend for Boeing. A couple of the big winners on Wednesday, JP Morgan had a big reversal, did not close below the previous day's low. And there you've got American Express sitting right at the previous day's low. So, if you jumped into American Express yesterday, you might be getting ready to exit that trade. And Goldman Sachs also had an inside day on Thursday. So some of the big winners pulled back from Wednesday to Thursday. Looking at the SPY, we're sitting just above the 593.75 level. We closed at 595.61. Now, our next mathematical target is 609.38, but you've got to think that there's going to be some psychological resistance at 600. Looking at Sun Micro, one of the biggest losers this week, was actually one of the biggest winners yesterday, up over 12%. Still no reason to buy that stock at this time. Then looking at the NASDAQ 100, it continued to motor higher on Thursday and traded through the next price target, heading towards 115.63. We may be able to hit that on Friday. Then looking at the Russell 2000, looking very similar to the Dow Diamonds, moving up sharply to the next price target of 237.50, and we're stuck there at the moment. Looking at the iShares for the TSX 60, we did not make a new high yesterday. We did close above the 37.50 level. We're still stuck to it, but we're looking to see if we can break away and break out above the previous highs, and then we're looking for 38.28 as our next target to the upside. Now, if you were with us back at the start of October, I did start a tutorial project called 31 Stocks in 31 Days, and I was overly ambitious. I didn't know I was going to get sick in the middle of the month and have trouble doing these pre-market videos. So we're going to restart that again next week, and let's take a look at the stocks we've already covered. Apple traded up into the channel yesterday, so a close above $228.81 on Friday would give us a new buy signal. Amazon continuing to motor higher. It's broken out above 200. On the first day, it made it up to 206.25. The next day, it got up to the 212.50 level, got as high as 212.25. If we break out above that, then 218.75 would be our next target to the upside. Boeing still on a sell signal. That would change on Friday with a close above $155.96. Then we've got the Bank of Montreal generating a buy signal as of Wednesday's close and trading up on Thursday, but then pulling back, closing lower by just 60 cents. And so you can see the bottom of the previous day's bar is just above the 126.85 level. So over the next day or so, that lower channel line is going to start trading above the Wednesday low. Then looking at Bank of Nova Scotia, still on a buy signal, making a new high on Thursday, no change there. Then looking at Chipotle, it traded up through the upper channel line yesterday. A close above 58.72 on Friday would give us a new daily buy signal. We came down, and you can see the first day where we gapped lower. It was a little too enthusiastic on the downside, breaking down below 56.25. It took a couple of days before we got back to using 56.25 as support, and so that is currently holding us in check on the downside. And then on the upside, 59.38 is holding us in check right now. Got as high as 59.14 yesterday, so looking to see if we can break out above that area of resistance. Looking at CIBC, still on a buy signal, no change there. No change in trend for Canadian Natural Resources. It traded up to the upper channel line yesterday, so a close above that, a close above 48.49 would give us a buy signal on Friday. No joy for Dollar General, no joy for Dollar Tree, and Dollarama still holding up. Inside day on Thursday, no change in trend there. No change in trend for Etsy. Etsy popped last week, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. And if the recent high that we put in last week is an indication, that's a lower high. So we recently put in a lower low. Now we're putting in a lower high. We'll have to see if we can take out that high from last week. Then looking at FedEx. FedEx made a new high for this move on Thursday. And then looking at GE Aerospace, it popped on Wednesday, pulled back on Thursday. A close below $175.11 would give us a sell signal on Friday. But, of course, we're looking for that close below Wednesday's low as the first reason to exit this trade. Then looking at Alphabet, new closing high for this move, hasn't taken out the high from last week just yet. Then Hydro One is on a sell signal. It's still holding the 43.75 level. In fact, it may have put in a higher low on Wednesday. It traded higher on Thursday, just up 28 cents on the day. Then looking at National Bank, still on a buy signal here. That would change on Friday with a close below $131.79. Then looking at the Royal Bank, we're back on a buy signal as of Thursday's close. And then looking at the TD Bank, we're back on a buy signal as of Wednesday's close. And we did have a small pullback of just 3 cents on Thursday. Okay, folks, that's all I wanted to cover on Friday morning. So far, it looks like we're going to have a very quiet open on Friday morning. There are no major economic numbers coming out in the pre-market on Friday. You have a great day. Next time you'll hear my voice, if you're a member, is on Sunday. Otherwise, next time you and I will talk in public is on Monday, and we'll take a look at the most actively traded stocks from Friday's trading action.